recording button. I bet a little bit of me saying that got picked up on the recording. Anyway, I'm in here to go beat up a dragon before I play a real game tonight. Welcome, one and all. And less. That was a strange thing to say. So, we're going to be using this thing here. Let me turn the volume down on my end so that way I'm not, like, screaming into the microphone constantly when I could be talking in a normal voice. So, what we're doing is we're not really jumping into this raid with the actual stats we would be using if we were in a raid. I don't think I can actually solo it like that just because I don't do enough damage. We're going to be using this Ascendant Prayer thing, which forces us into playing the raid solo, but we get massive amounts of stat boosts. And we are going to try very, very hard to not spend a revive as we go into what once was the hardest raid in the game. And we're going to fight it by ourselves. So, first of all, get a look at our stat lines here. This HP is a little bit out of control. It used to be a lot higher because I actually changed a little bit what weapons I was using earlier today, because I was like, I might be able to do something a little more interesting with this. But, let me go ahead and give a little bit of a going over of what our party looks like. So, first, let's look at the main character. We are currently using the Spartan class with the, I think it's called Galilee's Insight as our main weapon, which is a spear. This is a spear and sword class that is primarily defensive. So we get this ability, which gives us a 40% all-elemental cut for one turn, and a debuff resistance boost of, I want to say 40% for that one turn. We've taken Clarity because there's going to be some debuffs we'll have to remove, mostly in the very early parts of the fight. Dispel because holy fuck are there a lot of things to remove. And because I have to take an extended mastery skill for the class, and most of them kind of aren't that great. Unchallenged 2, pardon me. Centurion 2 is the one that we took. This makes one target immune to damage for a single hit. And anyone who knows this class or this game at all is like, well, you should be taking Hardened Shield, and to that I would say, In the part where delay is useful in this fight, it doesn't do anything. So, you know, poo on you. Second, Andre, aka Uno, who I'm going to be calling Uno because I am very familiar with how to pronounce that. From the left, Spiral Spear. This is a pretty generic nuke, but it does a crap load of damage if the foe is in overdrive and cuts their mode bars so we break them faster, which is not very important in this fight because there's like no margin for that no matter what. Fleeting Spark. This is a substitute effect. Not quite a full party substitute. Like, if he dies, I'm pretty sure that anything else will just keep going to whoever it was originally targeting before. I think. But for one turn, he can dodge and counter 3 attacks if they're single target. And he gets a massive boost to his attack, basically similar to the Salted Wound effects that we saw with one character in it. Actually, did I show that off? I don't think I really gave a whole lot of... Yeah, I did that during the week for the wind raids, pardon me. Or Defiance, I think, is the one for bonuses strictly against overdriven foes, but I don't remember. And here's the big reason why we have this guy. Arm the Bastion. 100% all cut. You're probably thinking there's a bit of redundancy here. No, there is not. There is a part of the fight where we need to make sure that we have 100% cut ready. And this This party is basically designed to guarantee that. And after 10 turns of lockout, he gets this ridiculous thing. One Rift's Benediction, pardon me, provides a 50% reduction for each element, and a damage absorb effect, so they recover. So each character recovers half of the damage they take, I believe, for 3 turns. It is very, very strong, but I don't know if I'm going to even use it in this fight. Next over, Drang. We've seen this guy before. We've seen Drang before. And lastly, Charlotta. She is why we have a little extra meter here, as opposed to 30% for everybody and 40 for Uno because he's one of the Eternals. We get a 5% bonus. That's one of her passives. She has this, which is a defense reduction and nuke. This, which is a pretty generic nuke that makes her immune to damage for 1 hit, 1 turn, which is the thing that I forget a lot. And here in the middle, another damage cut. This one only 50%. And over in my summons, Varuna to get all my weapons more useful. Same over here. I want that boost a lot. Justice, primarily for the 30% boost to allies' HP. However, she has a pretty strong nuke, balances your party's health, and restores everybody's health afterwards. Balancing your health can be a bit of an issue because, take a look at these numbers again, 64,000, 54,000, 49,000, 45,000. Yes, if we were to use that right now, the main character would take 19,000 damage with no real benefit to it, aside from, oh, I did like 1.1 million back and healed for 1,000. Whoopty shit. Europa. This is one of the many oh shit buttons in my summon set here. Basically every single one of my summons except for these 2 are primarily for the purpose of me going, oh crap. This will revive 2 of my allies who are dead, which is a very real possibility, but I can only do it once per battle. Godsworn Alexiel, 70% all damage cut. Most importantly, this stacks with all element cuts. We may need to do this to get to 100% if things get really, really shitty, which hopefully they won't. And Typhon. This blanks a foe's entire charge meter, in addition to a little bit of chip damage. This is useful because this and what are referred to on the Granblue wiki as special delays, i.e. things that drain charge bar and give you a charge, are the only things that can delay Bahamut during a very specific area that's basically a DPS check. So, with all this said, let's get into the fight. We start out, debuffs, toggle. And we're going to toggle back after doing this. We try to cast this spell only when drawing is in blue mode, so that way we can get as much charge meter out of it as possible. That's going to be a big source of damage for us. Even with me not really being set up for that. And I am actually not even going to bother holding on to Sword of Lemuel. I'm just going to drop that right now. And you'll see that mode bar cuts when the enemy is just in a regular state, push it forwards. So it's push the enemy closer to break if possible. And let's go in for our first attack of the fight. A lot of our debuffs didn't really do a whole lot, and that is the big problem. As soon as you see that target go up, you have to remove it. Otherwise, Ultimo Bahamut is going to drop an attack called Regenleave that does a crap load of damage to the target. Distributes a lot of nasty statuses. It's basically, you don't want to see it ever. Excuse me, that might have been more annoying than the noise that I was about to let out. Also, yes, by the way, Bahamut has a field effect going on here. Allies can deal critical hits regardless of elements, so we're going to be doing a little extra damage than usual. We're at 96%, so I'm going to throw up my Phalanx in order to block an incoming attack at 95%. There are a ludicrous amount of triggered attacks in this fight. There's... If I remember correctly, triggered effects happen at 95, 85, 75, 55, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 28, 22, 15, 10, 5, and 1%. Now, not all of those are attacks. A lot of them are just purges. And some of them cannot be mitigated whatsoever because they're plane damage and percentage-based plane damage at that. But we are going to have to be prepared to deal with so much in this fight. And as you can see, Ultimate Bahamut does just random elemental attacks. Alright, can we get our... There we go. Yes, I wanted the attack down because otherwise things could get pretty mean. Alright, so this should do a crap load of damage, by the way. The Fleeting Spark Spiral Sphere combo on an overdriven opponent. You saw that that did 2.2 million damage. That is some of the best skill damage that I get in the entire game. Outside of, like, the 3 million that I was doing with Vasaraga, who is just absolutely hilarious. I probably should have recorded the times that were just absolutely Vasaraga MVP earlier in the proceedings. And by the way, from here on, we switch to blue mode for drawing, and we do not turn back. We don't particularly care about the about any of the big nukes that we get on charge attacks. We just want the heals. And yes, I did walk into the 85% trigger and forget to shield for it, and you saw that it did an amazing amount of damage. And thus I had to break out Justice really early to recover from Uno taking 25,000 from that last hit. And at later phases, by the way, Ultimate Bahamut does just break that out as a regular charge attack, and it's not particularly the greatest thing in the whole world. It's a little mean, you might say. And, oh shit, I forgot about this. I went on autopilot a little bit, and Daedalus Wing, he's gonna do... Ow! He did a percentage-based attack there. I don't know by how much, but yes, I actually forgot that that was a thing and went into autopilot mode. Dangerous thing to do. Never do that. So we're going to use the sticker to get our blue potions, which is a thing that I didn't do a whole lot during the weekly raids. And we're going to heal up from that because yikes. And he's back to having uplift on him. So we want to remove that as soon as possible because he doesn't need to do more things to us. As I've probably made abundantly clear, I'm already pretty bad at dealing with what we get hit with in the first place. So I'm going to throw up an Arm the Bastion here because 6-turn cooldown. By the time we need it, 6 turns will have definitely passed. As we push past the 75% trigger for an attack that really sucks. One of the more annoying attacks in the entire game in terms of, well, just being annoying. Virtuous Verse. One target takes a lot of earth damage, the mass purge, and 2 random members of your party get knocked into your back row. I've shown off Lily before, so we know how she functions, but Europa, I don't remember if I've shown her off. So, first things first, some members of our party could use a little bit of patching up here. So we'll use this Mana Blast. 3 hits, decent chunk of damage, heals the entire party. Nice all-around skill here. Pleiades, not to be confused with the one that Metatron had. Bunch of damage. We get an Echo and we get some guaranteed triple attacks. That is very good because Europa stacks buffs when she does triple attacks. So that is very, very helpful for us. I'll take any source of extra damage. I just don't remember exactly what the buffs do. And there is our 70% trigger. Thankfully, it didn't do much to us, but it caused some issues because 3 turns, cast random debuffs at the end of each turn. Attack down, I will put up with. Okay, so that's attack and healing specs are boosted. Maximum of 5 stacks. The healing output from Europa's Mana Blast when she has those on is pretty high. I didn't really explain the second ability, but it's okay, defense down. We want to get rid of that immediately. Europa's second skill gives everyone a buff that gives them a general stat boost and gives them Fire Switch, i.e. all damage that would be dealt to them turns to Fire Element for several turns. And we're going to pop One Rift Benediction here. However, it lasts indefinitely or until someone with the buff takes takes hits on 2 turns. After that point, it will be lost. Since Lily has a fire-only cut, and that stacks with every colorless damage cut, that is one of the many ways that we get 100% cut for 15% for once we hit 15%. And oh, he did it again. Okay. All right, buddy. You go ahead and just keep doing your weird thing. There's some weird stuff going on this fight. Although I am using a slightly modified setup here, so that might be to blame. Let me remember, by the way, to switch back to... Actually, wait a second. Are we in blue already? Did I have him cast that while he was in red? Fuck. Yes, he's getting blue stacks right now. So, yeah, I kind of goofed that up a little bit, but eh. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I don't know if this is going to work out the way I want it to, but we are here to try, if nothing else. So if you don't remember how Throng functions, he recasts his nuke whenever the enemy casts a charge attack or anything that even remotely looks like one. And that gives us the heals, the charge meter, and also, yes, we're in the phase where Ultimate Bahamut's Deadly Flare causes stoning. Ooh. That's all I've got. I'm just gonna go ooh a little bit here. It usually does not happen, but sometimes it will, and that sucks. And that's all I've got to add there is that it sucks, because, well, let's be honest, it sucks. Quite a bit. I forget if I can check Goofus's stats to see how many charges he has for his progression type buffs. Alright, so there we go. There's the 55% trigger properly mitigated. And he still gets those status effects through. Ew! Jesus. Fuck this guy. Okay. Yes, it does not show the number of stacks that we have. That is kind of bad. That's something they should fix. And I admit to being a little surprised that they have not. So, Petrification causes you to take extra damage. And in addition, I think here I can actually toggle because I should have 5 charges. In addition, you can't do anything, but you also take extra damage. And no, getting hit, unlike being asleep, doesn't break you out of it. And I think at this point, by the way, that we can't... Oh, fuck me. I hate it when I don't remember things. I'm pretty sure that he's immune to delay by this point. Oh! Thank you for the raid, Alan. I appreciate it. Even if I'm coming in here with, like, not bringing a real video game yet, which, that'll happen later, don't worry. Well, I suppose it depends how you feel about randomizers in general, and yes, this is terrible. I do not like this very much, so I'm actually going to throw my potion at probably the most important member of the party right now. My poshul, as it were. That's one for you, Plastic Alan. Plastic Alan. And that was a big fuck up on my part. Holy shit. So, let's just pretend that that was me demoing. So the 50% and 40% triggers for this boss fight are that attack. It's 4 hits of non-elemental damage based on percentage of health. And if somebody gets hit by all 4 hits, they die. They just die. So, this is an absolute nightmare if it happens to all just target your main character for no good reason whatsoever. This is why it's a very good idea to carry a revive ability on somebody who's not the main character, if you can, just in case of something like that. However, your options are limited outside of, like, what? Just in general, reviving effects in this game are unbelievably rare. So at this point, Bahamut doesn't attack anymore and just charges up. If this fills, it's game over for us. It's game over, man! We just... If that happens, we just die. There's literally nothing we can do about it at that point. However, mercifully, I believe that when we hit the triggers during this section of the fight, he does not... Never mind, he charges. This jag-off really proved me wrong immediately. So, yes, we have 7 turns or so. I think it's 8. Whatever. We have a set number of turns to clear this 20% HP. This, yes, it's a DPS check. Which, this used to be where the raid would usually wipe. However, since there's been so much power creep since the original release of this raid, people are able to just absolutely rip this fucker in half. And that sucked. I should actually have the silver barrier up because that causes her to cast a heal when an enemy does one of those things. So we're cutting it a little bit tight here, but that is again why I have so many oh shit buttons in my set here. And a lot of heals to make sure that nobody dies from stray shots. Except that one guy who died, but you know what? 100% cut for all elements is a crutch. Come on, we're better than that on this channel, damn it! We are not better than that on this channel, damn it. Okay, so 35% is going to be elemental damage, so we can throw up a phalanx and we can take very little damage here. And we can basically use this turn to heal. Okay, are we gonna push to 32% at least here? Yes. Unfortunately, El Fuckerino's meter here is full, and we're not going to be in a place where I can safely guarantee that I can push to 30%. So, it's slightly a waste, but we're going to go ahead and summon Typhon here to give his meter the suck. See? There it is. It's gone. Again, back when this was, like, the endgame raid, Typhon, a gacha summon, may I remind you, was very much a thing that you had to carry multiple of. Your team had to bring multiple of those to this raid. Yeah, it's a little mean. It's a little mean. So I am a lucky Dickens, to say the least. So 30% is just an area of effect purge. 28% is him filling his charge meter. And let's throw this up. And we're going to see that these debuffs are resisted. They do nothing at this point. I could probably be healing if I was smart, because Lily's heal is up. But I think I've established at this point that I have not been playing this very smartly, so I'm just gonna let it ride at this point. We're gonna see where this takes us. And this much HP, okay, he just does Ultima Blast. That's just water damage. Okay, it's not just water damage. There's some purge going on there. So a lot of the time, by the way, those resisted effects were the Glaciate status, which comes out of that nuke. A lot of the times, enemies that are immune to regular attack and defense downs will be vulnerable still to stacking stat reduction. And, oh wow, we walked into that. Wow. That's a lot of damage we had. That's a lot of damage, but also, whoops, I walked into that. Oh no. Oh no. I just have to not walk into 15%, because if that happens, I am absolutely boned. So we would have to get somebody killed in order to get our fire switch onto the field. So I'll just pop that in order to have heals ready whenever things happen. We're getting a little tight here. 17%. We're in a very, very not great position, because I don't know if I have to do this now or not. I'm going to hedge my bets, but if this fails, everybody's dead. If this fails, if I don't hit 15% this turn, my front line is gone. So we're gonna bank on me doing good damage here. Got it! And this is what you have to be ready for. Skyfall Ultimus. It deals 10 million fixed dark elemental damage, and makes you unable to use summons for the rest of the fight, which is a minor inconvenience. It also confers these buffs to him. Cast a random debuff effect after each turn, which we already know, and deal 3-hit plain damage to an ally each turn, which is a mild inconvenience, but we may as well get rid of it anyway, because we don't want that poking us in the butthole while we're doing this. It's like only a couple grand each turn, which is very small, all told. But we're in the home stretch. We've only got to worry about a few more things. one of which cannot be completely mitigated, but the others can. Well, okay, not in my condition they can't be completely mitigated, but we're about to hit the 10%. Let's throw up a defensive line here. For Cosmic Collision, which is significantly less scary than what he did at 15%. Amazingly enough. Wow, we're down to 7%. We may accidentally walk into 5% here. So you can see that we're blocking most of the elemental hits, but Big Boy throws in some just random null element hits, and it's kind of a little bit on the rude side. And yes, as always, you cannot do anything about null elemental damage whatsoever, except for just make it not happen. We should hit 5% this turn, barring getting absolutely screwed. Yeah, literally everybody would have had to have done single attacks, which is very unlikely. So this is a different Deadly Flare. You can see that it brings back his damage effect. Yeah, we just got hit by it. And also deals dark element damage. I don't know why it has the same name, but I didn't design the fight, so shrug. Let's see if we can't finish this right here, right now. I highly doubt it because we have no defense downs on him, but we're pushing as hard as we can. We're gonna get to 1%, surely. Never mind. But that's actually fine. We may end up skipping over his last gasp here, because now he's at 1%, and we should clear that with the end of this turn. And there we go. At 1%, he casts Cosmic Collision again. So, nice that we didn't have to deal with that. Even though it would be an absolute non-threat, because we still had Europa in reserve. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binaries of various description, or anyone who simply does not want to be called a lady or a gentleman. Scoundrels of all genders, that is what once was the hardest fight in the game. It is now currently generally considered number 3. And if we were not using the, if we were not using that big buff for solo mode, we would probably have a bad time with that. But I am going to be attempting to, over the coming weeks of Casual Fridays, showing off attempts at solos of that fight with all 6 elements. Which means I'm going to have to grind a lot of the things to host it with, because that was my last host. This may have been a bad idea. Let's get a look at our item rewards and see if we got... Well, we did not get a gold brick, but we got a Damascus grain, which is nice. That can be built up towards Damascus nuggets, which are used for, like, just about everything now. They're used for certain 5-star weapon uncaps. They can be turned into Damascus ingots, which are just a free uncap of a gold tier weapon. So basically, don't have to play the gacha to get more copies of a weapon. They're good shit, basically. We also got a single Ultima unit, which is pretty low turnout. But if we scroll all the way over here, you can see that I'm pretty loaded when it comes to those. 138 is formerly, up until like about a year ago, since they started releasing raids harder than this, the 138 is probably about how many you would need through your entire career, unless you change the abilities in your Ultima weapons a whole lot. Hi there, Ziabolos. We are actually wrapping up now the Granblue section of the stream, so if you were here for that, I would like to apologize to you. So, 138 is a lot, needless to say, but I'm going to need at some point a minimum, and this is if I don't ever get any more Ultima weapons, which is very unlikely to happen because there's still opportunities for a couple more for me to pick up. I'm going to need at minimum 300 total. So it's nice to get more. It's nice to have those on hand. We also got a light urn, which is nice because I'm looking for another, right now, another 26 of those to upgrade another weapon. But yeah, that is all for this little run through of that fight. I will hopefully by year's end have shown off doing that in all 6 elements. Also, the current event in this game is pretty good. I liked it quite a bit.